Tracy Balzer, local DJ and improv actor, talks about her origins with comedy and what led her to improv with the troupe Heart of Lacrosse. Tracy hits on anticipating the next step in a sketch, working with a cast of creative characters, and she also identifies a few who surprise her the most when in the bit. I'm Amy, and he's Brent, and this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Tracy Balzer. I was born outside of Milwaukee in the early 80s. I moved to Lacrosse in the late 90s to go to UWL, and I haven't left here yet. How did I get into improv? I think I've always been someone that has been interested in improv and has been very quick with replies, and I think probably a lot of that came from middle school, which isn't great for anybody. But, I think that is, when you have challenges in your life, that's when you really develop a sense of humor. And that's where that came from for me. As far as getting into professional improv, I knew a few of the members of Heart of Lacrosse outside of the troupe and ended up getting pulled on stage at one of their shows years ago. And then they invited me to audition. And it must not have been too bad because they haven't fired me, so that's good.
Always fun to just have a chat with you. And, you could really see that sort of improv style coming out. So how has Heart of Lacrosse informed your sort of style when you're performing?
Well, what I really like about Heart of Lacrosse is that, it's usually 6 to 8 members. And over the last, I don't know how long I've been in, 10, 13 years. I'm honestly not sure. I should ask Brad Williams. He knows for sure. Some people have come and gone. But I think what's neat is the different styles that everyone brings. We've had some members that have some really in-depth theater training, and then there's other people that have had no training and it's all natural ability, and then there's other people that are kind of a mix of the two, which is me. I've done some theater and I also have done some just goofing around, so it's been a combination. But it's neat because everybody has different things that they bring to the table, and that's what meshes so well, is the different styles of humor and the different personalities as well. I think it would be a really boring group if we were all the same person, and I don't think I'd like it if it was 7 of me.
Talking about improv as a group, you must really kind of take from each other's cues where a skit may go. Is there anyone who continues to really surprise you?
It's everybody, honestly, but the person that surprises me in the way that they bring things is always Brad Williams. He is super funny, but the way that his mind wraps around things is so interesting to watch. But I mean, really everybody has things that you can count on from them, and has a really unique way of taking a scene a different way than you thought, but still going with what you led with, which is important. A lot of people, when they're starting out in improv, have an idea of what the scene's going to be. And if that's not what somebody else leads with, they just go with what they thought, and that doesn't develop the scene as a whole. And that's what I like about how Heart of Lacrosse works, is that we work so well together to get to the greater good. And, nobody's looking to steal the joke. A really good improver will utilize the group to highlight others. And I think that's what's so fulfilling as well. I honestly, when Heart of Lacrosse does sketch comedy, when I write a sketch and then I'm not performing it, that's my favorite, is to sit backstage and hear other people get laughs. I think that's my favorite. And I think everyone in our troupe, to some aspect, has that ingrained in them, that the greater good is what we're looking for.
You're also an on-air radio personality. Has improv shaped your persona on air, or is it the other way around?
It's definitely both. I think that, obviously being someone who has done improv for a long time helps me on the air, because you're live on the radio. So you have to say the thing immediately. You can't sit and think about it for a minute. You can't even think about it for 2 seconds most of the time. That's a really long time if you're listening to the radio, to have 2 seconds of nothing. Like, that was awkward, right? It was super awkward. So you need to know how to react quickly. And also with improv, you're working with someone else. And that is another thing that, on the morning show, Brittany and I work together. And for the last 100 and some days, she has not been in this building. I've been in the studio alone and she's working from home. So it's been really important to be able to have a feel for who's doing what without being able to have any visual cues. I haven't been able to see her while we're on the air since March 20th, I think it was. So that's a really good thing that we've developed this rapport to have the ability to kind of feel each other out without being able to see. I mean, that's, you know, in Heart of Lacrosse, we always perform face to face. So I'm able to kind of see a twinkle in Lisa's eye that she's got an idea, or things like that you kind of get a feel for. And so with radio, it is very similar. I mean, really all of life is improv. You go to the grocery store, that's you don't have a script of what you're going to say. And all improv doesn't have to be funny either. Some of it can be just developing dramatic scenes. Some of it can be building characters. It doesn't have to be always funny. And sometimes the best improv isn't, unless you're going with the expectation that it's going to be funny. If you're going to see dramatic improv and you expect it to be funny, you are going to be disappointed. But I think that it's both, in that they're both performance, they're both entertainment, and they're both also trying to create a connection with the audience.
It's funny to say that you haven't actually seen your duo, Brittany, there at work. You've been working online. You know, I've watched more live shows than I do in a normal year. So how is Heart of Lacrosse, you know, adapting with the circumstances with COVID? What's coming up?
Nothing, honestly. I mean, there's no way to know anything. We were going to do a podcast that Todd Olson had written a couple of years ago. It's hilarious. It's about this small town. And I can't wait to bring it to the stage. I don't know when that'll be, but we started it as a podcast, and we decided to do it as a live reading, and that was supposed to be the beginning of May. And right away, the Pump House canceled that. Wisely, obviously. My understanding is I believe we'll be taking the fall off. So I don't know what's next. Probably if parties are a thing around the holidays, we do a lot of improv shows for corporate clean comedy, which is super fun to have at your business's company party, or even, you know, we've done living room shows. People bring us in for a 50th birthday party, all kinds of stuff. Nobody knows what next month or even next year is going to look like. So I don't know. I miss working with them, that's for sure. And I know I'm not alone in that. It is this weird family of, we're all different kinds of people, but we join together in this goal of creating a safe space for art and for creativity. And also to, you know, you have each other's back. It's probably the longest I've gone without seeing them as well. 2020
is over anyways, right?
Yeah.
We can be planning for 2021 when everything's normal again. Where can people find out more about Heart of Lacrosse? I know, you know, you haven't had a real set schedule just yet, but could people just check it out online? Do you keep that up to date, or social media?
Yeah, we do have a website, heartoflacrosse.com. Our social media, our Facebook is a lot of fun. Lisa David Olson puts up the majority of the content, and it is always very funny. Every once in a while, we'll do a video here and there. Like I said, we haven't really been able to film recently, so it's also possible that in 3 months, when this starts to loosen up a little bit, or in 6 months, I don't know, we will have all these ideas that we'll want to get out. I don't know. We're always writing, whether or not those things make it to stage. You're at a place and you see somebody and that sparks a character idea. And those are just kind of things that you keep in your back pocket, and you never know exactly when you're going to use it. And that's what's great about improv too, is to have ideas of people when you get thrown into a situation. Oh, that would be perfect for this character, that you kind of have an idea of who they are. And that's what really builds good improv scenes as well, is to have some depth to your characters. And that's the kind of things that are always being developed, even if we're not performing at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like talking to a bunch of artists and musicians, a lot of them have used this time to just write. You know, it's given them an opportunity, forced or otherwise, to spend time creating versus, you know, just wallowing in self-pity, which everyone did probably the first week or two, but
sure,
it seems to be something that people are moving on and use it as a creative time.
Yeah, I think it would be, you know, the thing about Heart is that we all have at least one full-time job, if not a couple of jobs, and a lot of, you know, a few of the members have children and things like that. So what happened was, you know, a couple weeks after the initial shutdown, we all were incredibly busy with the rest of our lives. And I think we all would like to have more time to dedicate to this, because I think it would be great to get together even over Zoom or whatever to write. But all of us have had more asked of us outside of the troop. So that's been challenging for sure.
Hey, are you still active? And I mean, nobody can do anything, but are you still active with Mississippi Valley Mayhem?
I announce for them and I do some of their back end like marketing and social stuff. But yeah, that's obviously there's no roller derby at the moment either because you have to touch each other to play roller derby, which is what's fun about it. But yeah, I'm still involved in the Mississippi Valley Mayhem. I've never played. I can either hit people or roller skate. I cannot do both at the same time, which actually is funny. When Mississippi Valley Mayhem first started, Heart of Lacrosse did a sketch that I believe Lisa David Olson and I wrote together about the roller derby team. And it was, spoiler, do this whole scene and you think that we're part of the team and it turns out that we just work at the roller rink and they're mad that we're screwing around pretending that we're on the team. So, but the whole time we were on skates. So we had to get on and off stage with skates. And there was a couple nights that there were so many people in the crowd, we kept adding chairs. That was a pure improv moment because you came out from behind the curtain with your skates on, and neither of us are really roller skaters, so kind of iffy to begin with. You come out and you see, oh, there's chairs where we skated last night. We'll have to figure it out. And improving on roller skates in front of 150 people is challenging, but super fun. And having the trust to know that whatever happens, we'll get through it is what's important about having a good troop and having a good support system. And that's probably a really good view on life too. If you have a good support system, no matter what happens, you'll get through it.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you would like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Locals. Subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We thank you for it.